So when you repeat affirmations from a place of lack, you're not setting the stage for abundance or connection, right? Instead, you're circling the drain of endless want, endless desires, and dissatisfaction. Now, if this sounds all too familiar, it's likely because your affirmations are rooted more in absence than in recognizing that you are already what you seek. So they don't bridge the gap towards a fulfilling relationship, for instance. They widen it most of the time. So it's time to shift, to reshape these affirmations, to celebrate what already exists, your recognition of what already exists, an inherent state of abundance and connectivity, not to plug a perceived emptiness. So I am Dr. UNLABEL, and for a taste of unity with your desires, explore my Weightless Experience, linked in the description below. And for a seamless connection to wealth or resources, dive into More Than Enough, again linked in the description below. For personalized coaching, email me at hello@anilareddy.com. And if you find yourself obsessively eyeing outcomes, sweating under the collar of desperation, again, I've been there, or wrestling with a haywire nervous system, these are not just quirks or bad habits. These are glaring neon flashing signs pointing to a deeper issue, a profound case of mistaken identity. By identifying with the separate self or the ego, which is a tangled web of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, you've constructed a false sense of separateness. The separate self or the ego self that feels fundamentally inadequate. So here's how this misidentification manifests in your life. You find yourself constantly on the lookout for signs from the universe that, oh, everything is working out in my favor. Almost like a desperate commuter waiting for a green light, not realizing that the light is stuck on red by your own doubts. Or you hold on to limiting beliefs as if they are life-saving devices, keeping you afloat in a sea of uncertainty and fear. Much like a child clutching a worn-out teddy bear that's lost its comfort. Or it manifests as you tirelessly working to confront and integrate every shadow part of yourself, believing there's something broken that needs fixing. Ultimately, that's a fruitless quest that only cements your sense of being fundamentally flawed, which you're not. Or your thoughts are stuck on a loop of disempowering narratives, tangled with a wounded inner child or unresolved past traumas. It's like being stuck with a scratched record that skips back, never playing the full song that lets you dance freely. Or you have this experience of seesaw self-worth. You wrestle with a shaky self-concept, swinging wildly between feelings of insufficiency and fractured personal, energy, personal image, never quite finding your footing on stable ground. Or you try to impress your subconscious with techniques that feel as empty as they sound, like forcing a square peg into a round hole. They just don't fit. Or you are grasping at different states. You struggle, or you think you need to maintain a desired state because you're under the misconception that you must keep this state active to manifest successfully. It's like trying to stabilize a house of cards on a windy day. It just doesn't work. Or it manifests as you attempting to affirm your worth, but it's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. The contents in the bucket never stay, no matter how much you add. Or you're stuck in reruns. You get trapped in an old, disempowering life narrative, interrupting your manifesting process and failing to trust the flow that things are working out your way. So you're watching a rerun when you should be premiering the next chapter of your life. Or your insecurities are amplified. These issues bleed into every area of life, staining your relationships, health, financial well-being. They seem to mess up your manifestations. They stem from that deep-seated misidentification with a notion of separateness that ultimately skews your interactions with the world and clouds your ability to manifest a meaningful relationship with whatever it is that you want. Or it manifests as constant hesitation over decisions, big and small, driven by the fear of making the wrong choice. Or you feel attached to certain routines. You cling to routines and rituals as a way to impose order on perceived chaos. Perceived. Or you delay actions that might lead to success, driven by an underlying fear of failure. Or it manifests as the savior syndrome, believing that it's your responsibility to fix or save others, like your specific person, your friends, people you interact with, reflecting a deeper need to prove your own worth. Or you obsessively hold on to memories, good or bad, memory hoarding, as a way to anchor your identity. Or you're overcommitting, saying yes to everything to avoid missing out or disappointing others, stretching yourself too thin. Or you're habitually feeling guilty, guilt gaming, as if you must atone for imagined or exaggerated faults. Or you're just a lot of the time pessimistic, viewing the world through a lens of negativity, expecting the worst as a protective mechanism. Or you feel like you must earn your happiness through hard work, or suffering, unable to accept it freely. Or you shrug off compliments and achievements. You feel uncomfortable with acknowledging your own successes, once again making you doubt on your own manifesting journey. So all of these are symptoms, and identifying symptoms is just the start. Realizing you're not a fragmented separate self, this entity, but a complete interconnected whole, changes everything. This is not about minor tweaks. It's a fundamental shift from feeling lack to abundance, from separation to unity. And it's not just about changing what you do. It's about changing how you see yourself. Like, what is the truth of who you are? This paves the way for authentic manifestation of love, connectivity, abundance, whether it's a specific desire or a general desire. So, yeah, I'm sure you've heard that affirmations are a big deal. But when they come from a place of lack, they're just empty words. When you rest in your true self, whether you call it awareness, love, God, whatever, your affirmations shift. They no longer come, or they're no longer about filling a void with desperate repetition. Instead, they are occasional reminders of the abundance you are already recognizing, you've already tapped into. Just take manifesting a specific relationship. for instance. So from a place of lack, you might constantly affirm, I am loved by, insert your specific person's name, right? I'm loved by them, driven by fear. But when you recognize that you are love itself, now the affirmation might just be like, oh, I know I'm loved. It's used sparingly because it aligns with the reality of your wholeness. You're not trying to convince yourself now. It's not a belief. Now it's just the truth. So relationship don't manifest through force, but through a natural resonance with the love that you are. This shift makes the manifestation process not just simpler, but richer. You're no longer chasing. Things come to you effortlessly as natural extension of your wholeness. It's just natural for you to manifest what you want because you are already what you seek. So it's about non-resistance as a result of recognizing who you truly are. Not in theory, not in like repeating fancy quotes, but practically. And I've mentioned various guided pauses in my other videos on how you can use them to come to the recognition of who you are. So when you're not fighting perceived inadequacies, your life aligns with abundance effortlessly. And when what you desire arrives now as not as a hard-won victory through discipline, but as an inevitable fact. It is already a fact, like the sun rising. In this way, moving from disconnection to a life of unity and abundance is not just about getting what you want. It's about just changing your approach to life, from striving to being, from seeking to recognizing. And in this recognition or realization, you find not just success in manifestation, but you're just fulfilled. You're just happy for no reason. And this, approach to recognizing your true nature, this direct path, does not just make manifesting what you want sustainable. It makes it a natural, enjoyable part of your existence, because that is already the case. So the key is not to strive harder, but to realize just who you are, the true nature of your interconnected, abundant self. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.